have a new hitch, we have tools, we have old hitch, and now we're going to do this here at the campground because the auto hobby shop that we thought was going to be open is closed on Saturdays and all weekend long. So it's time to put a new hitch in. Hopefully it's as simple as unbolting the old one, putting the new one in there, possibly drilling some new holes, bolting it down, and running some air lines, but we'll see. We will see.
all right, y'all. Welcome back to another Triple with the Smiths video. We are talking about installing our new hitch. I don't know what the brand name is.
Trailer Saver.
Trailer Saver in Vegas in 120 degrees heat.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
It was a blast.
Oh.
So, if you may have been following, or may not, we bought this truck, the semi, with the intent of double towing. And along the way, we figured out that the hitch that we had some wear on it, and I didn't really want to max it out. So rather than max that hitch out that was probably close to 15 years old, we decided to buy a new hitch. And we bought another Trailer Saver, TSLB. Now I'm drawing a blank on it.
I don't know. Should put that in your notes.
I know. TSLB2H or something like that.
We'll have it right
in
the notes.
Yeah. So
description.
We bought a new hitch. We had it shipped to Vegas. That took forever, and we finally got it there. And we installed it in order to double tow. If you've seen any of our latest videos or social media stuff, you'll see that we're double towing now. We got the Jeep behind the trailer most of the time.
80-some feet.
Yeah, we're like 85 feet long all told. And the tow's great, by the way. If you're considering double towing, the Jeep tracks wherever the trailer goes. If the trailer can make it, the Jeep will make it. So it hasn't affected our turning radius or anything like that. We just can't back up. So enough on double towing. So we had this hitch shipped to Vegas, and we were on base, and the base generally has auto hobby shops, and I was going to go use the auto hobby shop to install it because they have things like cherry pickers, which are engine lifts, and they have tools, and they have vices, and they have all this other great and wonderful stuff. Fully equipped automotive shop, and it was closed.
It was closed.
So, and we had a deadline, kind of, so we needed to get on the road and needed to do it on the weekend. So we installed this hitch in the campground, which didn't seem like that big a deal to start with, but it kind of turned into a bigger deal along the way. Because part of the issue was having the right tools, because we're traveling in an RV, we don't have a lot of tools, and yeah, the right tools would have made a big difference. If you ever have to do this, we had to drill new holes for the plate to mount onto the truck, and that involved drilling through multiple layers of steel, especially once we added risers. And if you've ever ran a big drill bit through a thick piece of steel into another thick piece of steel, they like to grab and try to break your wrist. And it did that a couple times, and it actually almost cut the tip of my finger off at one point.
Yes, it just made my stomach flip.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly.
It was pretty gross.
So if you ever do this, I would highly advise getting the right tools and buy yourself a magnetic drill so that it will drill the holes without trying to kill you. A big drill and thick steel is a recipe for that thing catching, twisting, and breaking something. Maybe your wrist, maybe your finger, or in my case, it pinched my finger between two pieces of steel and nearly severed the tip of it, which really did not go well. In fact, our video of the hitch install is pretty good footage until that happened, and after that, it kind of went downhill because the interest in taking video went away. The hitch that we got is, as you can see in the video, is a newer version. Yeah, as you can see in the video here in a minute, is a newer version, and it's a little bit stouter, and it has shocks on it to help dampen any chucking. Chucking is when the trailer pulls back and forth, not up and down per se, but when it's pulling the truck back and forth. And the shocks on it kind of help with that. We've towed with it quite a bit, and it provides a pretty good ride. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like I could tell the difference from what we had before to now.
Yeah. So even though we had a semi, you can still feel the difference in the ride. And it's got a remote control on the airline, so I can control the amount of air in the hitch from inside the cab of the truck, which is kind of nice. It's not necessary, and I rarely change it, but it is a nice thing. One of the nice things about doing this in Vegas on the weekend is that in Vegas on the weekend, there's access to just about anything you want. So when we decided we needed more steel for the riser that was going underneath the hitch to get the appropriate height of the front of the RV, I was actually able to find somebody on a Sunday to cut me a couple pieces of 2-inch square tube, and I was able to finish the install. Not many places are you going to be able to find steel on a Sunday.
Nope.
So yeah, what started out as a couple hour install, as most things go, turned into a full 2-day install.
Yeah.
I think it was actually a little bit longer.
And he should have waited because the auto hobby shop did open up. It was that day. Yeah.
It did open up later than advertised. I think the person that was running it was late, so I went over there. It was closed. I assumed that all the information online was wrong, and well, I ended up doing this in the campground. And you'll see in the video that there's some mishaps here and there and some trouble here and there. We also had a couple other things, like when we put the hitch in and bolted it down. The first time we bolted it down, I didn't see that the trailer wires were between the hitch and the riser, and so we smashed those and I had to repair that. So there was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. At the end of the day, I ended up, and I didn't film this unfortunately, but I ended up getting Candace out there because I was tired of going back and forth between under the truck and on top of the truck, and she made bolting it down a much easier job.
Yep.
What do you got to say about that weekend?
Yeah. It was a long weekend.
It was a rough weekend.
And yeah, it was a long weekend. It was rough. I wish that, like I said, I mentioned, he could have waited a day and went into the auto hobby
I
shop.
could have even gone in later that day.
It was open. Oh,
yeah, it was.
I didn't realize that's my first hearing it. I just thought it was open. It was open the next day though, as well.
Yeah, it was open the next day too.
So he should have waited. Make sure, my 2 cents to add is that, and make sure you got the tools if you're doing it yourself, the proper stuff, and watch what because like we had to go back, right, and fix that with the bolts or whatever.
Yeah. After we bolted it down with the wires pinched in between it, it cut the wires.
I almost feel like you need to have a checklist when you're doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Early, yeah.
Yeah.
Like written, so you don't miss a step.
Yep. And you'll also see I did a lot of balancing on the end of the truck, which is probably not a good idea, and it ended up turning out poorly. You'll see that in the video.
What, you falling?
When I slipped off the truck, and almost broke my leg.
That you got that?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
it doesn't look in the video. It doesn't look as impressive as it felt, but it hurt.
Yeah. So I was concerned for that, and of course his finger. But his finger is, where is it?
Oh, it's right there.
It's coming back.
Yeah, I think it's permanently damaged, but it's
nail.
okay. The nail doesn't grow right now because of the scar.
Thank God for nails, because that would have probably took your the tip.
Yeah, there's a picture of it in the video. It I don't know that it looks as gnarly as it was, because it was after it had been bandaged for a day or two, so it started healing, but I just about cut the tip of it off.
Yeah. That's all I got, really. Be careful.
Be careful. Oh yeah, if you're doing this in the summer in Vegas, you'll see in the video I moved all my tools because the sun was baking my tools, and every time I touched them I burned my hands. So that was fun. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let us know if you got any tips, tricks, or comments, or anything like that.
Questions about it, about his install.
Yeah.
So I think Jeff does a pretty good job of showing and explaining.
Yeah, as long as I kept the video rolling towards the end. But really, you don't miss much other than drilling holes and throwing bolts in.
Yep. So.
All right.
That's it, y'all.
Something that the old hitch does not have, shock absorbers, so hopefully that'll help out with the ride a little bit. Comes with airline and air control kit, warnings, directions, I hope. So if you look at it, it looks very much like the BD5 that we had. This is just a little bit heavier duty version, but not much. But you can see nice, clean, heavy duty, all set and ready to go. Shocks on the side to help dampen chucking. It's got some protective brackets over the airline fittings. And this is the old hitch. This is one of the original trailer savers. It's also got some protection for the airline fittings. It's got the head that's all greased up because I destroyed my greaseless lube plate. The trailer plug-in, the air control, which will be replaced with an in-cab air control, I hope, and everything's ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling this old one off, and then we'll install the new one. All right, so we're going to start taking stuff off of this thing. Kind of cleared out it. First thing we're going to do is pull this off. I use this little rope reached over here to unlatch it because it's easy and it doesn't require the little pull thing that I don't think they sent with the hitch. I don't see it. We'll have to double check. So that's just mine. And now we're going to take off the trailer wiring. Hopefully not lose those. So now we're ready to start unbolting it, and you can see we've got 4 bolts, front and rear. So get underneath it, get a wrench on it. I'll use an impact from the bottom and a wrench on the top. The one right next to the airbag, that one right there, that's going to be a pain in the butt. You have to use a screwdriver to wrench it around a little bit, but that's what we're going to do now, is just get in there and loosen those bolts up so I can lift it out of there. And then we'll disconnect the air, lift the hitch out, hopefully not break my camera up there, and we'll be ready to install the new one. So you can see, ready now to start removing this thing. I inflated the bags so that it would get the platform of the hitch out of the way. Gives you a little bit more clearance on the bolts. So now I'm going to crawl underneath there and start rattling those loose with the impact gun. Vice grips. We're gonna put a pair of vice grips on there. So we got the 2 hitches out. Well, 1 hitch out and 1 off the pallet. You see them there next to each other. The new one looks a little bit stouter. We'll take some measurements here in a minute. We cleaned the deck of the truck off because all the tools sitting up there in the sun in Vegas, every time you pick them up you get burnt. It's brutally hot out here. I had planned on doing this at the auto hobby shop here on base, but they're closed on the weekends. And their website said they were open, so went over there, found that they were closed, so we're doing it in the sun with no shade. You can see the hole that it's going to go in. I'm going to spray some paint on there just to cover up the rust, hopefully prevent any more rust. And we set up a workspace over there. It's a little bit neater, but the biggest thing is that it's out of the sun and things won't superheat, so we'll see. So we're going to go ahead and no air in it. So 5 inches wider, about 1.5 inches longer, and it sits 1 inch taller than the old one with no air in it. I don't know if that'll change with air in it, but that's how it is. That's how it's going to start. So I'm going to go ahead and reuse the riser that I had in there so that I can make sure that I am not nose low and I get plenty of height on the front of my fifth wheel, because it tends to run, it was running a little bit low before, so I put that riser in there. So now I got to figure out where the holes go and all that good stuff, and how to make the riser that I have work with the new hitch. Okay, moment of truth. Can we get this thing in there? So, as I fall in the hole, got everything set up for it. We got to drill a hole still, but I'm going to drop it down on this plywood and hopefully slide it across this plywood and this wood over to the hole. This wood out of the hole. This is just scrap from some other projects I've been doing around here. I might have to move that other hitch out of the way. Well, let's see. I can burn my hands on this black metal. shit. Whew. Almost lost it. That would have not been good. Did I mention I wanted to do this at the auto hobby shop where they'd have a cherry picker and other stuff to help out? This sucks. Just trying to get all the pieces of wood back off of it. Now we're going to tip it back, slide it on in. Hopefully we don't have any disasters. So now it's getting it centered in the hole and drilling some holes to bolt it in. Trailer Saver says 4 per side. I'll probably do 6 or 8 per side. I've got enough bolts for that. I just want to make sure it's not moving around. It does sit up higher than the other hitch. Depending on what we have going on, we may take the riser out. We'll have to see how it sits and if it sits level when we get it all in there. But next thing, I'm going to situate it. I'm going to drill some bolt holes. All right, so we've got this hitch back in here, ready to go. Did a couple things. We pulled the shocks off so they'd be out of the way to drill the holes to mount it so they can swing around. I also found somebody on the weekend to get some 2-inch square tube, because as you can see there, our previous riser was a little bit narrower than the flanges on this one, and I didn't want the bolts just going into free space before they went down through the plate on the bottom. So I put a 2-inch square tube on each side, so they should be able to go down nice and solidly, and that's where we're going to go to next, is getting that all into place, drill some holes and bolt this hitch down, and hopefully it'll be ready to go. Alright, so in preparation for drilling holes, oil makes drilling holes much easier. I don't have cutting oil and I don't have a little fancy bottle for it, but I just use the travel size squeeze bottle, some 30 weight automotive oil, and this will help out a little bit when cutting these holes. hitch out.
Why is your blanket out here?
So we get the hitch in, not without some pain and suffering, but we managed to get 5 bolts on each side all the way through with that 2-inch square tube as a riser on the outside, so they're not putting any stress on the plate. We need to hook the trailer wires up there, and we need to get some air to it, so that's what we're working on today. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed seeing me fall on my ass. That was good times. When I fell there, you don't really see it in the video, but my leg went right down that step in that eye for hooking up chains, and I still to this day have a spot that's hard on my shin, on the side of my shin where that concussion is. Whatever you call it. I think it's a concussion.
I can see it right here. You're not gonna please don't put your feet in the camera.
I'm not putting my feet in the camera, but to this day, months later, there's still evidence of that.
There's
so
bruising.
Be careful.
Or I guess it probably is a long-term bruise.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. So, all in all, it went in. It's been okay. We've double towed with it, many miles now,
Yep.
probably 1,000 miles at least.
Yep.
And it's been a good experience. The hitch has worked out well, and we've never seen double towing. People look at you like you're crazy when you're double towing, but once you actually get hooked up and on the road, it's not much different than towing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that there's a big difference between having 45 feet behind you and 65 feet behind you. It's all long.
It's all long.
It just makes you not want to do it at night. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't like towing the trailer at night either, so either way. So, anyways, that's it.
Y'all. Thanks for watching.
We'll be back in about a month, maybe a month and a half. Seems like.
Life just been kind of in the way.
Yeah.
With video. It's a production, y'all. It's just, if any of you are YouTubers that watch, you understand.
It's not just that it's a production with the video, it's also our life has been really busy.
Yeah.
If you've been watching the news, we've got some stuff we may share with you that's percolating right now in the future.
Yeah.
But there may be changes coming to Tripping with the Smiths based off of current events.
Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna go before Jeff keeps rambling.
Yeah. Candace keeps telling me to shut up. It's like, don't talk so much. Don't talk so much.
I didn't say it like that. I didn't say it like that. Anyways, y'all, thanks for watching. That's the second time. Are you done?
Yeah, maybe we can go 3 or 4 times.
We'll see y'all in the next video. Questions, comments, whatever you know about RV life, share with us, and we'll share with y'all as we always do. All right, see you in the next video.